At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Welcome back, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed your Thanksgiving feasts.
Absolutely. A day filled with turkey and football.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Speaking of football, we're serving up a deep dive today into the Cowboys-Giants Thanksgiving showdown.
Yeah, classic rivalry, and always a great game to watch.
Absolutely. And this year, it wasn't just about bragging rights, you know. We're talking playoff implications, historical rivalries.
Some really surprising performances, too.
Yeah, for sure. So on the surface, Cowboys 27, Giants 20. You'd think close game, right?
Not really. The Cowboys dominated more than the score might suggest.
Really? I mean, I guess a 7-point difference isn't huge, but it's not nothing.
True, but the Giants' defense just couldn't handle the pressure. They gave up 6 sacks on the quarterback and 2 turnovers. Not a good look.
One of those turnovers was a pick six, wasn't it?
That's right, a real momentum shifter.
For those who might not know, a pick six is when a defensive player intercepts the ball and runs it back for a touchdown. Always an exciting play.
Absolutely electrifying. But before we get to that, let's talk about Rico Dowdle. 112 rushing yards for the Cowboys running back. He was unstoppable.
Seriously. It felt like every time he touched the ball, he was gaining serious yardage.
Exactly. And that's a key point. Remember, the Cowboys were playing with a backup quarterback.
Right. Dak Prescott was still out with that ankle injury.
Exactly. So having a strong running game like that takes the pressure off the passing game, allows the quarterback to settle in, make smart decisions, avoid risky throws.
So you're saying Dowdle's performance was even more impressive because of the situation?
Without a doubt. It was a masterclass in running back play, and it really set the tone for the entire Cowboys offense.
Okay, let's talk about that pick six. Rookie linebacker, DeMarvion Overshown. What a play. I mean, it felt like the entire stadium just erupted.
Yeah, it was electrifying. Not only did it give the Cowboys a crucial touchdown, but it totally swung the momentum in their favor.
For sure.
The Giants were already struggling on offense, and that interception just seemed to deflate them even more.
Speaking of their offense, the Giants' quarterback situation was, interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, interesting is one way to put it.
Drew Lock stepped in for the injured Tommy DeVito and ended up leading the team in both passing and rushing yards. Yeah, that sounds pretty good on paper, right?
Yeah, but when your quarterback is leading the team in rushing, it's not always a good sign.
How so?
Well, it often suggests that the passing game isn't working. The offensive line might be struggling to protect the quarterback, and the receivers might not be getting open.
So Locke running for all those yards was more out of necessity than anything else.
Exactly. And unfortunately for the Giants, their problems weren't limited to the offense. Their defense set a pretty unfortunate NFL record during this game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They set a new record for the most consecutive games without an interception.
Yeah, ouch.
But honestly, why is that such a big deal? I mean, interceptions are great, but they're not the only way to measure defensive success, are they?
That's true, but this goes beyond just a lack of interceptions. It points to a lack of aggression, a lack of playmaking ability. The Giants' defense wasn't creating turnovers, wasn't putting pressure on the quarterback. They weren't making those game-changing plays that can turn the tide.
And speaking of game-changing plays, let's go back to that pick six for a second. It wasn't just about the points, was it? I mean, it felt like that play just energized the entire Cowboys team.
Oh, absolutely. You could feel the shift in energy on the field, in the stands, everywhere. The Cowboys' defense was suddenly flying around, making tackles, getting in Locke's face, and the offense seemed to feed off that energy as well.
It's almost like that one play created a ripple effect that impacted the entire game.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And that's what makes football so fascinating, It's a game of momentum, of adjustments, and sometimes one single play can completely change the narrative.
So true. Now let's shift our focus to the sidelines for a moment. Mike McCarthy leading the Cowboys, Antonio Pierce, the interim head coach, leading the Giants. How did their coaching styles play out on the field?
Well, with McCarthy, you saw a very balanced approach. He leaned heavily on the run game, especially with a backup quarterback under center.
Makes sense.
And defensively, the Cowboys' game plan was clear pressure lock relentlessly. And it worked like a charm.
It definitely did.
On the other side, Pierce has been under a lot of scrutiny since taking over as interim head coach. And honestly, this game didn't do much to silence those critics. The Giants looked disjointed, unprepared.
Almost outcoached, even.
Yeah, I'd say so. The defense was struggling. The offense was sputtering. It wasn't a pretty picture.
Not at all. And that's where coaching becomes crucial, right?
Hmm?
Can Pierce rally the troops, make the necessary adjustments to turn this season around? Or is this the beginning of a downward spiral for the Giants?
So many questions swirling around them. But for the Cowboys, this win wasn't just about getting back on track. This game had some serious historical weight to it.
Oh, yeah. This was more than just another Thanksgiving game.
Definitely. This was a clash of legacies.
The Cowboys have never lost to the Giants on Thanksgiving, right?
That's right. 3 Thanksgiving games, 3 Cowboys victories. You can't underestimate the psychological impact of that kind of dominance. It adds another layer of pressure to an already intense rivalry.
And speaking of pressure, let's talk about the playoff implications of this game. This win kept the Cowboys' playoff hopes alive. They're still in the hunt, but they have a lot of ground to make up.
For sure, they do. But this win was a huge step in the right direction. It showed they can win even without their starting quarterback. They have the potential to shake things up in the NFC East.
Absolutely. And for the Giants, well, their playoff hopes are hanging by a thread at this point.
Yeah, they're facing an uphill battle. They need to string together some wins, and fast. But more importantly, they need to find an identity on both sides of the ball, figure out who they are, what they're capable of.
Okay, before we go any further, I want to go back to Rico Dowdle's performance.
Yeah.
112 rushing yards is impressive no matter what, but you're telling me it was even more significant considering the Cowboys' backup quarterback situation.
Absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of the pick six and the rivalry, but Dowdle's performance was the foundation for the Cowboys' victory.
So it provided stability, controlled the clock, and allowed the Cowboys to dictate the pace of the game.
Exactly. It was a clinic on how to run the football effectively, showcased Dowdle's talent as a complete running back.
And on the flip side, the Giants' inability to establish a consistent running game really hurt them. It let the Cowboys' defense focus on stopping the pass, which put a lot of pressure on the lock to make plays.
It's all connected. In football, one weakness can often expose another.
So what does this all mean? We've got a resurgent Cowboys team, a struggling Giants squad, and a whole lot of unanswered questions. But there was one moment in the game that really seemed to capture the contrasting fortunes of these two teams.
You're talking about DeMarvion Overshown's pick six?
Yeah, that play was electric. It felt like a microcosm of the entire game.
I agree. A moment of brilliance from a young player on a team finding its stride, going up against a team that's searching for answers. It really highlighted the difference between a team on the rise and a team that's struggling to find its footing.
It was a stark reminder that sometimes the difference between winning and losing comes down to just a few key plays, a few moments of brilliance. And for the Cowboys, this win wasn't just about beating their rivals. It was about snapping a 6-game home losing streak.
Yeah, talk about a psychological boost.
It had to feel amazing for the players, the coaches, the fans, everyone.
Well, absolutely. You could see it in their body language, the way they celebrated after the game. This win gives them something to build on, gives them hope.
And for the Giants, well, it's a different story. They're staring down a long road ahead. A lot of tough questions to answer.
No doubt about it. They need to figure out how to generate a pass rush, how to create turnovers, how to make things difficult for opposing quarterbacks. They're just not doing any of those things consistently right now.
And on offense,
they need to be more explosive, more unpredictable. You can't rely on your quarterback to be your leading rusher every week.
That's not sustainable.
Exactly. They need to establish a balanced attack, open up the playbook, give their quarterback more options.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the key takeaways here? What should we be thinking about as we look ahead to the rest of the season?
Well, for the Cowboys, this win was a statement. It showed they're not going away quietly. They're still in the hunt. They have the talent, the coaching to make a run at this thing.
It's just one game, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. Consistency is key in the NFL. They need to build on this momentum, string together some wins, show that they're a legitimate contender.
And for the Giants, what's their path forward?
It's going to be a tough climb. They need to fix those defensive issues, find some offensive rhythm, and most importantly, they need to believe in themselves, believe in their coaches, believe in their system.
Because right now, they're a team that seems to be lacking confidence.
Exactly. And that can be contagious. They need to find a spark, a turning point, something to rally around.
Maybe, just maybe, this Thanksgiving game, as painful as it was, can serve as a wake-up call.
Could be. A reminder that they need to make some changes and they need to make them fast.
It's a crossroads for them. They can either crumble under the pressure or use this adversity to fuel their fire.
We'll see which path they choose.
So, as we leave you to digest all of this, I want to leave you with a final thought. Think back to that moment when DeMarvion Overshone intercepted the ball and took it all the way for a touchdown. Pure exhilaration for the Cowboys. Utter deflation for the Giants.
It was a microcosm of the entire game, and perhaps a glimpse into the future of these two teams.
The Cowboys riding a wave of momentum fueled by young talent.
And a renewed sense of purpose.
And the Giants.
Still searching for answers, struggling to find their identity, facing an uncertain future.
But that's the beauty of the NFL.
A league of constant change, unexpected twists and turns. You never know what's going to happen next.
And as we head into the final stretch of the season, one thing is for sure.
It's going to be a wild ride.
So buckle up, everybody. The NFC East race is heating up, and we're here to break it all down for you every step of the way.
It's going to be fascinating to see how these two teams respond to this Thanksgiving showdown.
Will the Cowboys keep riding this wave and make a serious playoff push? Can the Giants regroup and salvage their season?
A lot of questions to be answered in the next few weeks.
We've dissected the game, analyzed the performances, and explored the history. But the real intrigue is what happens next.
Absolutely. Every week in the NFL is a new chapter.
And that's what keeps us coming back for more.
The unpredictability, the drama, the possibility that anything can happen.
So true. And that's what keeps fans engaged, right? The hope, the belief that their team, no matter what, can turn things around.
It's a powerful thing, that belief.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Cowboys-Giants Thanksgiving game, we want to leave you with this. Don't just watch the games, experience them.
Think critically, analyze the decisions, appreciate the nuances, and most importantly, enjoy the ride.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. The passion, the excitement, the shared experience of being a fan.
Exactly. Whether you're celebrating a victory or dealing with a tough loss, it's the journey that matters.
I couldn't agree more.
So keep those debates going, keep those rivalries alive, and keep diving deep into the world of football.
We'll be back next week to break down another game, uncover more insights, and explore another chapter in this crazy, ever-evolving story.
Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and stay hungry for more.
Today is your lucky day. Today is the day that our $3 website works for you, paying you directly to your PayPal daily. Imagine $3 ongoing continuous payments to your PayPal account. Imagine falling asleep and waking up to $300 in your PayPal account. How would this make you feel? How could this help you? What bills could you pay? What kind of fun could you have? What does that retirement look like now? All for a one-time payment of $3. This website is DFY done for you, fully built and completely hosted, and never stops collecting payments for you. You have spent $3 on coffee on a regular, but that coffee won't help you create multiple streams of income. Click the link below.